This video will show you how to use the STO key or the store key on your calculator to find and check answers. So this is a question from the 2016 STAR test, and if you're confident at solving equations, then the best thing to do is go ahead and solve this equation for x and then use this method to double check your answer. If, however, you're not strong at solving equations, you can use this method to get to the correct answer. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our calculator and we're going to test each one of these because the question wants us to find a value for x that makes this equation true, meaning this side has to equal this side. So to use my store key, the store key is located down here right above the on key. So I'm going to type in first the number I need to store. So I'm going to type in 64. And then when I press the store key, it gives this little arrow saying, where do you want me to put that 64? And then I'm going to type my X key. And if you don't know it, this key right here is the shortcut to the X. Just press it and it'll give you an X. And then when I press enter, the calculator says, okay, now every time you use x in an equation, I'm going to use the value 64. So then, since it wants this side to equal this side, I'm just going to type this side using an x exactly as it is into my calculator and press enter to see what 64 does to this side. So I type it in, I press enter, and it says the first side of my equation has a value of 63. Then I type in the second side of my equation and press enter, and it gives me a value of 33. So what I know is 64 is not the correct answer. I can go ahead and cross that out, and we'll move on to the other answer choices. So now I'm going to take the second answer choice, which was negative 64, and I'm going to type it in, negative 64, press my store key, which is right above the on, and my X key, and press enter. So now my calculator is working under the idea that x equals negative 64. Now instead of retyping in the whole equation, I'm going to use a shortcut on my calculator to recall previous entries. And the way that I do that is I use my second key and enter, which has a little blue word entry above it. That's just giving me prior entries. And I'm going to use the second and enter key, and I'm going to scroll through until it brings up one of the sides of the equations I've already entered in. So it brought it up. Now when I hit enter again, it's going to use my new value for 64, and it tells me that at the new value of negative 64, the side now is worth 31. So then I'm going to continue with my second and enter key and scroll through till I get the other side of the equation back up, and I press enter, and it tells me that it's negative 33. So I can see that my second answer choice also did not give me the right answer. So now, using the exact same process, I'm going to store the third answer choice, which was 56. And when I go through the process, I get down to the end and I can see that they do not equal each other. So hopefully our last answer choice will. And my last answer choice, which was negative 56, I put it in, and at the very end I could see that both sides were equal. So I know that that is the correct answer to the question. Now this is also really cool. You can use the store key in order to help you solve these really ugly and often very intimidating exponential questions. The whole law of exponents, when it gets this complicated, even if you want to do it all by yourself, use this method to double check that you got the right answer. Now the thing is, they haven't given us numbers that we can input. So we're going to have to come up with a test value for A, B, and C. And what I mean by that is we need to put in any number that is a small number and includes a decimal. That's just going to be like a test placeholder for us to check equivalency. So I made up the numbers 1.1, 2.1, and 3.1. And I stored 1.1 for A, 2.1 store key B, and 3.1 store key and C. And if you're sitting here going, where did she come up with these numbers? Well, frankly, I made them up. If you want to make up different numbers, it's okay, as long as they're all three different from each other, and they all three include a decimal of some sort. Other than that, you're on your own, make up what you want. But these are the three that I've put in. Now that my calculator has a value for A, for B, and for C, I'm going to test and see which one of these answer choices will be equivalent. So first thing I got to do is I've got to enter in my problem. So I'm going to use the alpha y equals key and then the number 1, and that pulls up my fraction bar. So alpha y equals number 1 gave me my fraction bar, and the first thing I did was type the numerator up on top. Taking my time, paying extra careful attention to make sure I get everything correct. And then I use my down arrow key to get to the denominator and type in my denominator. And when I press enter, the calculator gives me a numeric value for my problem based on my 3 test values I put in. So now I have a number. This is what my problem is worth in this situation. So all I got to do is figure out which one of these answer choices is also worth the same amount. A lot of times here, I go ahead and jot down the number. The number was that 0.100286. I jot it down because I can't remember it. But since I have pictures of it on the screen, I'm just going to keep it in our mind. So let's go ahead and start with answer choice F. So using my alpha y equals key again, I'm putting in answer choice F. That's right here. And when I press enter, I can tell that this has nothing to do with that. So we know for sure that answer choice F is not correct. Now I'm going to type in answer choice G. I typed it in right here, and when I pressed enter, again, had nothing to do with my 0.100, so answer choice G is out of here. And then I type in answer choice H, and when I typed that one in, it gave me the number. It looks like my number. So I just scrolled back up to double check on my calculator. I used my arrow keys and scrolled back up to my original entry just to verify my number. And yes, they're the same, so I now know that answer choice H is correct. Pretty cool, huh?